I just believe the residents deserve a right to have access to their government by the airways. Some are not mobile, senior citizens, whatever the case may be, children. They love to see. When I go into the elementary schools and I speak to some of the classes in the schools, hey, I seen you on TV before. They remember those types of things, and that's something that they can look up to. Use it as a roadmap to their success. And I just, I hope, as I transition off, I hope that this is something that can work. And I hope this is something that this council can embrace, because I would embrace it as a city official and move it to form and legislation format.
You got it.
Thank you. I just want to point out one quick, very fast thing. In yellow on this page that we just passed out, it has something very important that relates to what Mr. Baker just mentioned. I'll read it very, very quickly.
Where you at? What section
In
you
yellow,
at?
first page in yellow at the bottom.
Yellow, okay.
It goes on to the second page. In accordance with applicable franchise agreements, local franchising authorities or cable operators may adopt on their own non-content-based rules governing the use of PEG channels. For example, now I'm going to point out non-content. You can't restrict this. This is your freedom of speech to the entire community, not just the elected officials. Rules may be adopted for allocating time among competing applicants on a reasonable basis other than the content of their program. Minimum production standards may be required. Users may be required to undergo training. That's for cities that got training and got their own equipment and all that stuff. Federal law permitted a cable operator to prohibit the use of a PEG channel for programming that contains obscene material, sexually explicit conduct, indecency, nudity, or material soliciting or promoting unlawful conduct. However, the U.S. Supreme Court determined that this law was unconstitutional. Please hear me. Everything is protected under public access except obscenity. Obscenity alone. So calling saying, hey, the guy in the red shirt, he said something, and I don't like, so take the program off. You can't do that. That's against the law. See, this stuff has been tested. 1,000 litigations over in the United States. This is federal law.
I respect it, but I just think that as we move forward in a more positive direction, and maybe you missed the overarching tone of what I was trying to say, as we move forward in a positive direction, that type of association that I know existed in times past, I'm glad it is not a part of this particular proposal. And whether or not it's a reality check or an epiphany, I'm just glad that this is a different presentation that uniforms the government and or community as we make a step forward to restoring East Cleveland. So with respect to my colleagues, that's why I said, if we are moving forward with this, I think it would be better served if it was in a legislation type format. And I'm glad you had in your proposal area that's talked about the reality which we face, and as it relates to our finances, and that being in the sum of $20,000. And he is absolutely correct that over time, the accumulation of the franchise fee is around that dollar amount. However, we do have a standing agreement somewhere on the table with Time Warner. Is that correct? That there's some type of talk with Time Warner. So that franchise fee, it may fluctuate from time to time, and it just might not be a guarantee of $20,000. So we may want to keep that in mind. That again, with all of the competitive type, cable services and satellite services out there for television, we have to keep in mind that we're opening the doors to other people. But again, I do support the access part, the access component, but we may want to not put all of our hopes on $20,000 with that.
Martin.
Yeah, I just got two questions, very briefly. You haven't been paid. How much are you owed?
The city owes Legacy Communications $40,000. The work that we performed in 2014, we never collected a dime, worked the entire year, and never was able to get a nickel.
Okay, and my last question,
Thank you for not suing for it.
you mentioned that, the franchise fee of $20,000. Is
Yes.
that what you said?
What,
What
what,
board?
what I'm saying here, first of all, I do want you to understand that production costs way more than $20,000. I am a contractor.
I don't want you to go through long.
Well, just
That's
real
the
quick.
other thing.
Who
What I
lives
need to
here,
know
too?
is,
But the thing is, what I'm saying
do
to you
the
is,
citizens pay enough during the course of a year, Mr. Franbro, that it comes to $20,000 in franchise fee?
that's what I'm understanding.
That's your understanding.
That's what I'm saying. I understand.
But Mansell said that we only collected $1,600 for the year. Is that what you said when you were
We
talking?
collect monthly, that's.
$1,600 a month?
Yeah, it should be
Monthly?
$1,600.
$1,600 a month. Okay.
Well,
It's like $2 or something assessment. Ms.
No.
Jones showed me her bill, and that's how I started asking questions. She made me go look into it, and I did look into it, and I came up with that.
The cable company just raised
And they just
our
raised
rates just now.
Yeah, they've been raising them.
recently.
They're raising about
Most recently,
twice a
they just
year
did.
sometime. Yeah.
So, I mean, this,
For the sake of time, I'm sorry, Rich, you got it.
Yeah, okay,
You got to,
yeah,
you got
go
any
ahead.
questions? Okay,
Yeah.
Barbara, now,
Thank you, Mr.
Councilman Thomas.
I appreciate you and Mr. Grant coming and presenting, you talk a little louder, presenting this program, which you showed it to me before. I don't have any definitive answer to Time Warner or anybody else, but I do see what you're presenting, and it gives us an opportunity to see a different side of what took place before. So my suggestion is that we go over this, council, and talk more about it in depth, and see where we can do this. And I am in agreement with my colleague Mansell Baker that it come in the form of legislation so that we can have a definite, clear-cut look at what is taking place. And therefore, if we do that and we have the law director also go over it and get it into place, then we can deal with it and move forward. That is as if the rest of the colleagues agree. How about that?
Any other comments?
Yeah, I had
Okay.
a couple of questions, thank you. First I'd like to ask the clerk, or Pat, if you could get me the legislation that governs the current percentage for the cable company. And
Hold on.
you did a good job of
That-
covering
Ms.
this.
Hold on, Councilman, I don't know if this is legislation that we issued on the cable provider. It was almost like
In the contract,
it was
isn't
an
it?
agreement between, I haven't never, huh?
5%.
5%, right? That's our legislative statement that we can garner 5%, or is that a city
Well, that-
agreement?
No, that goes back several years.
It goes
It's still
back to
our working-
Anwar.
Yeah, the new one is still in.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to.
So that I'm clear, we don't have legislation on percent.
That was years and years ago, that was established.
I would like to see
That's
that
the max-
legislation. That's what I'm asking.
I think it was 2007, 2006.
Okay.
I was looking for.
Pat, did you get that?
I was looking for it, but there was a base for all subsequent, cable companies, and I was looking for it. The mayor said that it was there. I just haven't been able to identify it specifically. Yeah.
See, we need that, and I would definitely like to see it.
I think it currently is in, city council archives as well, because it goes back.
It may be in the basement in the 97, 96 '96 archive.
So if we don't find it, how would we need to pass new
Well, in the
legislation?
new pending legislation with Time Warner, it exists, the 5% exists.
But you said that didn't have to come before us.
Well, that's
doesn't.
just pending. That's just
So
pending.
it's in my committee or is it not?
Nope.
No, it's,
Because you emailed me back and read that email and you said it didn't have to.
State handles it now.
City will.
he just, the Time Warner, public relations person just deferred and said that, I could just send them a letter for the time being, so send them a letter saying that, we were considering it. That it's not.
If at any time, Councilman, and I don't want to infringe, but if any time we attach money to something, we need to put that in legislative form or an agreement with the company, and we're garnering money from them on, taking something off of it.
Well-
We almost should always be enter into an agreement.
Well,
Because what if they don't have to send us our 5% based on the letter? That's not
Well-
binding.
so far, as of last month, there were no, customers. And so.
Because they're waiting on this. You
Yeah.
understand that?
Yeah.
The city has been, residents in this city have been waiting on Time Warner. The moment we announce that we plan on going in that direction, you will see a bulk of individuals get rid of some other providers and skip to Time Warner. So it's not the fact that we don't have any, it's the fact that they could not get access to it. So once they get access to it, and we have that 5% on the table, the new council, I would suggest that you guys enter into an agreement with them so we can have a surety that we receive 5% off of the fees that are collected.
They're buying Time Warner. Time Warner's buying East Cleveland Cable.
Well, if they
They're buying.
are buying, we need to have an assurity with them in legislative form
Okay.
at
I
5%.
have
So-
a meeting
that has
Okay, so-
past 45 minutes.
No problem, we're gonna get to it. I'm not finished, Council
Finish
Vice
out,
President. Can I finish? Just for a little clarity, Time Warner's not buying the other cable company. That's not, they're not buying East Cleveland Cable. The second thing is, we were actually lucky because under the federal law, which governs this, and it actually governs their percent, and I could be wrong, I thought it was,
He's always wrong.
it's a maximum percent that it could go to.
5.
5. Now, because we have the East Cleveland Cable in place, and we're assuming, but we need to find that contract, it automatically covers Time Warner from the percent. From the percent that we can get. Well, listen, I talked to the lady. Wait,
Let's go.
Misunderstood.
Come on, y'all,
That
let's-
is that
We gotta
cable
get to the
agreement
agenda.
is between the state and the cable company, not the city.
right.
Now, the other thing is that Time Warner is, I know AT&T is in East Cleveland, so they're licensed to be here by the state.
By the state, so that's what I was getting at. We don't license them to come here, but we have to enact the percent in order to get it. But since we already had East Cleveland Cable, that's grandfathered in so that we get the percent. The second thing I wanted to ask you, right, is I'm understanding this document you gave us. So now the legislation will basically cover and enforce who?
Well, the law director's sitting right here. I mean, basically, you put this in legislative form and pass it, you know.
Now, would the East Cleveland Cable, would they have to abide by that? Would they have to say, these are the time slots as passed by city
No,
council?
No, East Cleveland Cable is not involved.
No.
East Cleveland Cable is the cable company. Legacy is operating the channel. If this is passed, it would be Legacy Communications that is operating the channel according to the terms of the agreement, which would limit, you know, any entity or individual from dominating the airwaves here in East Cleveland.
So if we had a problem at some point after we pass this legislation, say the hours, the times weren't as the legislation, we come see you.
Well, an act of council to hash it out, I'll help you, and then you pass the new time slots.
No, the time slides that we pass, if you're not following them, we come see you and not
Right.
East Cleveland.
Right.
Oh, I
Okay,
got it. I'll follow.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn, Health and Safety and
Thank you all.
General Services Committee.
Oh.
Meeting.
Move.
Time is,
Just,
I'm sorry.
1 second. Legacy Communications is a registered company with the state of Ohio. Legacy Communications has its, all the ordinances of the city of East Cleveland are followed.
All right. I got a motion on the floor.
Thank you.
Before we get that motion, I wanted to say under the miscellaneous that the tobacco legislation under General Services and Administration, we are still working on, and good news that the city of Cleveland actually passed legislation Monday, and we will be talking with them extensively to help bring that legislation to East Cleveland so that we can have wider coverage of the legislation. And I'm glad Mel Rand is here because I was handed, as I walked out the door to this meeting, the proposal for the special purpose grant 33.
I got to say one thing.
And that is it.
Well, I'm gonna say this, while I
Here it
appreciate,
is, right here.
while I appreciate the fact that we are all looking and we agree about the tobacco, there is a tobacco legislation already on the books that I second, and it's on the books about all tobacco, single cigarettes and everything. Pat, did you get that?
I asked for a couple of documents to be ready for me here, they're not here.
Pardon? Well, it's here, and
It's not here, I asked for some documents to be ready so I can read it, because you keep talking about this legislation.
Yes.
But I have not seen it yet.
Okay, what I'm saying to you is on, they pulled it the other day, and I'm sorry, it's not here. Can I finish? Can I finish? And I appreciate, while I appreciate us getting, saying that Cleveland has done their duty, but as far as this council, we all have not, you sent a congratulations and you're joining in, but next time, please don't say we, until this whole council can say, yes, we agree with our,
And I duly noted, apologize for that. Councilman Mansell Baker has been to a number of these meetings with me, so the letter actually came out from those meetings. And we talked about that in this meeting before, in the general service.
We don't even know nothing.
But Mansell sits on that. When it came in front of me, I had to do it. It only made sense.
Can that be an off internal,
Yes,
internal
it makes
conversation?
sense. So let's-
Motion to,
Wait, point
Adjourn.
forward.
What?
I am,
Uh,
I am. I'm in order, I'm in
He's gonna
order.
make it.
And we didn't even know
What, to
nothing
do
about all
adjourn?
this stuff.
No, I'm in order.
you got, on your agenda, you gotta be marked.
We're gonna take that out. Cause we going to general review, they can speak then, so we can keep going.
Yeah. Well, let's make a motion,
Put it on.
we don't need to make a motion. So
But I mean.
Do we have any public comment as of right?
Absolutely.
Just 1 minute.
No, you just
Oh,
can't do that.
I can't do that.
No, you
It's
can't.
a business
Yes, you
meeting.
can.
You should have put it on there. You
One
wouldn't have
We-
that. You can't do
Actually,
that.
Just, can you not, okay.
I'm talking to you.
Please, go ahead, sir.
My name is Ephraim Abdullah, address 1872, Grassmere. I just want to greet the council today and make it clear that you all will have my support coming from the East Cleveland Chamber of Commerce towards help rebuilding and establishing our beautiful city of East Cleveland.
Thank you. Thank you for those good words.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you, Councilman Martin, for making the public speak. We needed some good words.
Thank you, Councilman Martin, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Shit, come on. Wheeler, you got another?
Yeah.
1 minute.
One minute.
1 minute.
Yeah, but
1
even
minute.
Chair, I was just recognizing the time as chair of the meeting. So I just wanted, just quickly, within 1 minute's time, to put in context the dollar figure. The figure came from the clerk of council's office, actually, while I was in a meeting with Tom Wheeler to request that information the day after I met with Council President Thomas. So that's where the $20,000 figure came from. The clerk of council pulled it from the council's records, from the city's records. Also, just to contextualize that, after, when the city hired Ray Robinson, where the council tried to hire Ray
He
Robinson.
didn't get paid either. Go ahead. Ray Robinson get paid
That's
either.
not the question, that's not the
Right.
question.
Yeah.
But the amount allocated, to put in context the $20,000 figure, the amount allocated was $20,000 by council for 6 months worth of non-professional service in effect. And this is 12 months of professional service that includes not only shooting the meetings, but also running the channel. So this is half of the amount allocated for Ray Robinson. And this is more services than what would be allocated for Ray Robinson, just to contextualize that $20,000.
Duly noted, sir. Duly noted. Thank you. Motion to adjourn the general services and health and
Second.
safety meeting. Time is,
Aye.
7:19. Madam President.
Thank you.